Welcome to Bitstorm, a comedy game design podcast by two guys who know nothing about comedy nor game design. I'm Trevor Scott, and with me as always is Ben Slinger.
I just, as you did that intro, I was like, you said the wrong name. And I was like, no, that is your name. Like, my name comes first when I am hosting the episode. Anyway,
Yes,
hi, I'm
you
Ben
are not
Slinger.
hosting this week.
No, I'm not. But welcome to Bitstorm. Yeah, look. Hi. How's it going?
Good. Can you tell the difference in my voice this week?
Yeah, listen to last week's episode. All the people who didn't listen, listen to last week's episode, listen to this week's episode, and now hear the rich warmness of Trevor's voice as he has
That's
a
right.
new microphone.
I got myself a new microphone.
Yeah, so, hey, it's E3 this week. Big announcements and things, which we're going to mostly ignore because we don't talk about real games on this show.
No, of course we don't.
But it's an exciting week for games. There was one thing I kind of wanted to bring up. There's a lot of love and a bit of ridiculous hate over the fact that there was the on-screen lesbian kiss between Ellie from The Last of Us and whoever else, because I didn't actually watch it because I don't watch trailers, but I am aware of it. Mm-hmm. Have you seen this?
I've heard of, have not watched.
Okay. Anyway, my point was we try to be quite diverse on this show and try to add representation for people who, usually so many games are just white cisgendered men. And, we think it's important to have representation. So I thought this week, every character in all of our games is gay. But
okay.
It's not actually going to change the way we do anything, because the thing is, like, we try to have women because, we generally use pronouns, and so that is something that's somewhat obvious. Most of the time, someone's sexual preferences don't come up in the gameplay ideas that we come up with. They probably won't tonight. I'm not saying we attempt to, put them in there in any additional way necessarily, but
no,
just
definitely not.
From that point of view of representation, if it does come up, then they are in a same-sex relationship. And if it doesn't come up, well, you can just be aware of the fact that they are a character who is gay or possibly trans, or this is the thing. I think there needs to be more representation out there for just characters who aren't defined by their sexuality or their gender. So anyway, I think that that's an important thing, and I thought we'd do that tonight. And if we do come up with some games that involve relationships, well, they'll be same-sex relationships. But if we don't, then yeah, they're just
sounds good to me.
LGBTQIA plus characters doing stuff. So with that, shall we play some Click Bitch? Yes?
Yes. Yes.
You took a while to decide. Did you?
Not in the edit, I didn't.
Do you want to tell the audience what Click Bitch is all about?
Oh, fair enough. So, Click Pitch is a game where we both have a random word generator in front of us. On the count of 3, 2, 1, click. We're going to click refresh and get ourselves a word. We're going to mash those words together and create a brain baby. That could be a awesome game, or it could be a funny game, or it could be a shitty game.
It could be a shitty baby.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, click.
Sugar. My word is sugar.
Baroque.
Baroque. Like BAROQUE, not just like put some accent on the word broke. Baroque.
Baroque.
So I don't know enough about like art and architecture to know exactly what Baroque means, but I did just look it up on Google.
Same here. It's a highly ornate and often extravagant style of architecture, art, and music that flourished in Europe from the early 17th century until the late 18th century.
All right, so let's kind of just take it as the time period, obviously, and maybe to do with like aristocratic kind of culture, rather than specifically try to get into any of the like actual architecture and art and what it meant. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm seeing that this is set in France.
Set in French, yep.
During, the 17th, 18th century. Mm-hmm. I'm picturing King Louis.
Sure. One of them.
With his sort of like powdered face and all this sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm picturing that you're playing a chef.
Okay.
That has to create like the most awesome desserts.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's interesting.
But because it's such early times, I'm now picturing, the sort of hard sort of things that they're going to have to get through, like infestations of roaches and fleas.
Actually, so I like the idea of creating cakes. I like the style. I think to do something that we don't usually do, let's make this a digital card game where different cards in your hands let you put like different layers of cake down, or like different like types of icing or decorations or whatever. And so it's sort of maybe a bit of a deck builder almost, where and I don't know if it's a competitive thing, could be competitive. I don't know. I feel like for some reason, something about that setup made me think, oh, this would be an interesting game where you like, that's a bit more gamey, that's a bit so you have to put down a base of a certain like width that needs to be able to hold everything that comes on top of it, right? So you've got to use your sort of wider cake bits earlier on, because you have like there can be rules about what sorts of cake bits can go on top of what sorts of other things, like maybe everything has a weight or something.
Okay. So what I'm also seeing is that maybe you can be going up against someone else. Mm-hmm. So the competitiveness comes from you're both trying to build the best cake that you can.
Of course. Look, these fucking kings and stuff, I'm sure they had people like bloody chefs competing to make the best thing for them and then executed the other one.
So the other things that you have in your deck building is that you can have basically attack cards that you can throw out and say, this is what you're now dealing with.
But they still have to be cake based.
Oh no, I'm thinking, roaches and mice and rats and like some sort of disease, or they got a whiff of some really, really bad Theo, because obviously there's no deodorant back here. So
all right,
you can have different attacks.
I like the idea of attack cards. I think that it should be things like, do you know how in Munchkin, when you loot the room, if you pick something, like if you pick a curse up or something, then it goes into your hand, versus if you kick open the door and pick up a curse, it does apply to you.
Oh, yep.
I think you have an aspect of that. I think you can also, and again, perhaps sort of like Munchkin, because you've got your cake cards, and it might be, base layer, first layer, second layer. I don't know how we'd exactly classify them, but some are bigger, some are smaller. You probably don't want to put the biggest one, once you're up to the fifth layer of your cake, because you're not going to be able to put it on there. But if you've got the right card, you can like fling it at the other cake. and then the heavier the better, right? Because it's actually going to destroy.
It's like a wandering monster card.
Exactly. It's going to destroy more of the other person's cake. Like maybe it actually takes out that many points, like of their cake off the top or something.
And you roll a die to like a six-sided die to say what layer you're throwing it at.
yes.
So,
and if it's bigger or equal, then it will just take it out completely. And so if you get like the third layer and they're up to 5, but you throw a 6 weight cake at it, then chances are you'll take out that, and it takes down the layers above it as well.
Yeah, I like that.
That's actually really cool. And then you could also have things, because I was thinking like, okay, maybe there's like a knife card that either lets you take a layer off your cake, or with the right maybe like other card, or again, a roll the dice, lets you just take the top layer off the other person's cake, right? Yeah. So to take it off your own, it might be to put something better on, because you've got a card that is better than what you previously put on there. Mm-hmm. Or obviously, like if they've put something cool, or maybe it's actually to steal it. Maybe you can actually steal it with the knife, because you can like cut it off cleanly. And yeah, I think that's really cool. I think there could be some really cool stuff you could do there, particularly because you're having to work from the bottom up as you play the cards, but then as you're destroying the other people, you're mostly having to work from like the top down. Unless you do, like take out a middle layer.
I think you could also have like a different sort of setup, so that if all you've got in your hand are top level cake cards, you can start by building the top level, but you can't combine the base level and the top level until you get like a stand card or something like that. So
yeah. I think you definitely have to have the right combination, and you're trying to build the most extravagant cake, right? So yes, you've got like, and let's say you just do it with numbers. Like the widest base is like a 6, with the smallest sort of cake piece being a 1, but you can put stuff in between that, right? So if you put down, like you might have a stand. So if you've got that at the beginning, you can play that first. But of course, the stand might only fit a 3, so that means you can't play those 4, 5, or 6 cake cards that you got if you want to play them on the stand. Well, and even then, like I think to put a higher cake card on top of something else, maybe there are special cards that are like fucking gravity-defying complex things that manage to put a 6 on top of a 3 cake. But, yeah, like there's strategy around that, around how big you start to be able to finish it. And, yeah, I think there's some really cool stuff you can do there.
So what I'd love to see in the graphic department is, yes, you've got all the like cards flipping out and all that sort of stuff, but when you play a card, like you see a visual representation of what you've just played.
Of the cake. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
As it builds, and all you see of your other players like that you're going up against, whether it be AI or not, is you just see the visual representation of the cake. You just see the building
cake.
up.
I'm actually picturing it in 3D, like quite nice graphics. Like quite nice graphically in 3D. You've sort of got your hand down in front. You've got your cake on one side, and then sort of across the room, maybe even slightly out of focus, unless you decide to have a close look at it. You've got the other person's cake, and sort of as they play their cards, you sort of see pieces of that come together. Or obviously, if there are attacks happening, then you have some visual representation of that too. I love the idea of a giant, 6-point cake piece coming flying across and just taking out the top 4 layers of your cake.
So I think when you actually see, like, when they're doing the kick open the door move, to flip up a card.
A new card, yep.
You actually see that card at that point.
Yes.
And then it turns into the animation of whatever they decide to do with it. Yeah,
so it could be rats or whatever, right? Like, those sorts of things could happen as well. And, rats might just, maybe they do things like, because they eat a piece of the cake, maybe they take a point off one of your cake pieces, right? So if you put a 6 at the bottom...
it now becomes a 5.
Yeah, exactly. But if you'd put another 6 on top of it, now you've got a 5 holding a 6 and your entire cake collapses, right? So again, it's more strategy around how you structure that cake. Because, yeah, you could put 6, 6, 6 and make this big, huge 3-layer base. But, yeah, if the rats come and eat that bottom layer of your cake, then they can no longer support what's above it.
So I think what you've got is you've got maybe... I'm trying to think. Maybe you got 5 rounds to actually correct this. Otherwise, it's going to actually fall. But if it gets down to like it's got 1 health left, you've got 1 round, sort of thing.
Yeah, I think even 5 rounds is maybe too many, depending on how the flow of the game goes. But yeah, if you've got, you might have cards where you can just like slap a whole bunch of fondant in there to like fill the gaps, and it's going to take away from your eventual taste score, but it's going to save the rest of your cake, so you don't have to start over completely.
So I'm thinking because this is in like the 17th, 18th century, it's all fruit cakes. So there's no mud cakes, there's no chocolate, there's no nothing like that.
I don't think it's pretty heavy, solid cake. Definitely. Which just makes it even better when it gets thrown across the room. But yeah, look, I don't think we need to go into anything around different types of cake. It's really just about the presentation of it, even taste. Like there maybe is a taste factor, but it's really not that important. Yeah, awesome. I really like that. And then, of course, we didn't even talk about just decorative stuff, right? You can have layers in between the actual cake pieces, which are the sort of, the little mini, like, stand pieces that might lift a piece, a cake above something else, and they can have different complexities and different, different weights they can handle or something. And, yeah, so much cool stuff.
Cool. Okay, 3, 2, 1, click.
All right.
Trumpet.
Formulation. Trumpet formulation. Maybe this is a game where you affect chemical processes through music. Or maybe you're just a chemist who really is into sort of big band brass instruments.
Jazz music.
Yeah.
Or you're making doing formulas to jazz music, so it's sort of slightly out of time.
So there's a bit of, maybe it just comes down to this character is just a sort of non-conformist chemist, and so they talk about their chemistry like jazz. It's like chemistry's like jazz. It's the bits in between the molecules that count. It's the molecules you don't see.
Oh, that's very interesting.
All right, well, no, let's explore that from a characterization point of view. Maybe we just start with a character.
Okay.
So a chemist who is really into jazz music and perhaps plays in a jazz band, playing the trumpet. Mm-hmm. What sort of story about a chemist could we come up with? Maybe, like, presumably there's some sort of drama around... well, I guess are they particularly extraordinary, or are they just find themselves sort of thrown into a situation where their chemistry skills end up kind of being useful. I'm kind of thinking point-and-click adventure-ish, just because that's
Yeah,
where we
same
go
here.
with narrative stuff. I like the idea of a point-and-click adventure where most of your inventory is just different chemical solutions.
There was actually a game kind of similar to that, which was Freddy Farkas.
That's true.
Frontier
Yeah,
Pharmacist.
that was an Al Lowe, the one Al Lowe game I think that he did. That wasn't Leisure Suit Larry.
No, he also did Torrens Passage.
Well, aren't you just the little Sierra expert? Classic
And
Sierra.
Black Cauldron.
Did he?
Yeah.
That's really
He was
weird that he
involved in
did
that.
like the kids' games and Leisure Suit Larry.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I was just thinking about like you've got all these games because there's such a trope of the point-and-click adventure that you just try every inventory item on everything, right? I think this is a game where you can't do that because literally, if you try your hydrochloric acid solution on anything else, it just dissolves it and you lose the game. So you can't just go around inventory spamming every usable object.
Yeah, you don't want to get that magnesium near water.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's a real chemical knowledge from the player that's necessary as well.
And there's got to be no like mention of it anywhere in like the actual game.
Of chemistry?
It's just got to be of chemistry. It's just I'm thinking like the old Sierra games. It's all in the manual.
It's just a textbook. It just comes with like a 7th grade chemistry textbook. All right, solve this, bitches. I love it. All right, let's click again.
Yeah.
Bundle.
Experience.
Ooh, the lovely bundle experience. Is this a game where you get XP for buying fucking humble bundles and never playing the games to come with them? Because I would be so fucking OP at that game.
Okay. I see this as maybe you and your partner have decided to adopt a baby.
Okay, a little bundle of joy.
Yep. And so you bring home the bundle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about whoever's got the most experience. Sort of like it's maybe a couch co-op game that you can sort of have like competitions between you and your partner to see who can.
I like where you're going. I love the idea of a couch co-op game about raising a child. That is awesome.
So neither you or your partner are the biological parents, so therefore you don't have that sort of maybe predisposed gene that's sort of turned on to say, yeah, I know how to mother or father.
Yeah. Look, you're both coming into this with the same level of experience to start with, basically. So we say like you're on the same level. There is there is something slightly off about like competing against your partner to raise your child better, but we'll run with it. I think I really still do like the idea.
So what I'm sort of thinking is you've got like a competition to see who can quickly get to the pantry, open the jar, and like do the aeroplane sort of thing with the with the food.
I like the idea of this
or
being
the
kind of a
bottle
bunch of competitive WarioWare style mini games. Not quite not WarioWare style in the way of 3 seconds or whatever, but just or maybe more like Mario Party-ish or something where it's just a bunch of mini games, micro games. And so it's things like you got to open the jar, like there's a certain, maybe that's the fucking palm killing spin your bloody thumbstick as fast as you can move. Come on, get this fucking thing up. And then you literally like you have to aim the aeroplane spoons into the mouth or like time them when the child has their mouth open. And so, cause I'm just picturing like the aftermath of this mini game is just food everywhere, which is realistic.
Definitely.
As you both try and like get this child to eat fucking mashed peas or whatever. And then, you've got like nappy changing games, which are all about precision wiping and folding and,
what I'm picturing with that though is you literally don't like you get almost like an over the top view. So
I don't think we're showing
with like
baby genitals
with like a
necessarily.
perfectly placed like lampshade or something like that, so that you can't quite see anything, but you get enough of the sort of movement. So I'm thinking maybe you can knock your partner out of the way to sort of get in because you're basically both trying to.
I like the idea that it's almost a surgeon simulator-esque thing where you're both controlling one hand and having to do the more precise job of putting this nappy on and wiping. And then, it is somewhat covered up. And so when you finish, it like reveals how well you did. And it's just this like nappy that's all over the place and there's still like shit running down the baby's leg.
Okay, so I've got an idea. One of the levels is like the nighttime feed.
Okay.
So you're both in bed and you're both trying to kick the other one out of bed so that they've got to go and deal with it.
No, actually, what it is you're both trying to convince the other that you're still asleep, that you haven't been the one who's woken up and realized what's happening. So it's like this kind of timing thing of, all right, should I open my eyes? No, okay, wait. I'll be really quiet. And it's whoever
But
can.
what is the time?
But what is the time? Whose turn is it? Wait, I can't remember. Who did it last time?
We did the last snore. Quick, snore again.
Yeah, look, that could be some tricky gameplay, but it's very realistic.
But I think what you're also trying to do is whoever ends say this first week or whatever it is that you're running through with the most experience, yet also the most sleep.
Well, I think sleep is a resource, right? Sleep actually, as you do things, you get exhausted. Like your exhaustion goes up, or your like alertness goes down.
And you're more prone to mistakes.
Yeah, and so you've got like slightly less control over that nappy changing hand, or that airplane flying hand, or whatever. Sleep is really a resource. I think from a gameplay perspective, that makes a lot of sense, as well as a real life perspective. I think this is so far the most realistic baby rearing game that has ever been made.
Yeah, definitely.
I really like that. Sorry, I'm just thinking about it from a Mario Party point of view, whether you can go to more than 2 players. And we'll just go down the whole polyamory, not necessarily polyamory. I'm fine with that, but it could just be co-parenting amongst, in a communal sense. Everyone's trying to raise this child.
DLC, that'll do.
DLC is where we bring in the alien babies. We've done that a lot. That's one of our trademarks by this point, is raising alien babies.
Raising alien babies, anthropomorphic babies, or...
Well, yeah.
The game where you play as the baby trying to get away. Oh, that's how you add a third player in. They're the baby trying to...
They're the baby. And it is in VR. They're in VR.
Oh, God.
The baby player is in VR. And so they literally just see these, like, huge fucking human things coming down.
Things coming out.
Trying to, like, grope them to change their nappy and, like, throw fucking mush in their face.
3, 2, 1, click.
Yeah.
Tender.
Helicopter.
Tender helicopter. I'm just picturing, for some reason, like a helicopter flying, and you've got to try and give a massage to someone with like the blades.
With the blades.
So it's basically you got to get close enough to give him like an air massage sort of thing. So you're getting close and you're getting that wind whipping up.
Oh my God. I mean, that would be challenging. I'm not sure there's much gameplay there.
In VR.
Do you remember the old game? What was that game where you had to like pick up the probably army men or whatever and return them to the base? Was it just called Chopper? Chopper Command or something? Chopper?
I think it was something like that anyway.
I'm thinking that, but it's like you're also matchmaking.
Okay.
So you're having to to pick people up and drop them off and hope that they just start kissing. Tenderly. Yeah, maybe not.
Another way that you could take tender is all about tenderizing meat.
Yes. Okay. With the helicopter.
So I'm picturing that you've got your helicopter.
Mm-hmm. As we all do.
As you all do. And you've been given like the job of transporting this meat from the butcher to like, I'm thinking sort of like an Amazon drone sort of thing.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is more of a mini drone kind of helicopter than a passenger helicopter. Yeah. Okay.
So the idea being that you pick up the meat and then you tenderize it on the way by like banging it into things.
So it's just like, it's not even in a bag or anything or box. It's just raw meat. That could be part of it. Like you have to bang it on the right things that it doesn't get so dirty that it'll kill them when they eat it.
Yeah.
Or as long as you wash it before you get there. I'm kind of picturing, I'm kind of picturing like a side-scrolling side-scroller.
A side-scrolling side-scroller?
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Well, yeah, you've basically got a stake hanging from a claw from your helicopter, from your little drone, and you can bang it on things or drag it on the ground, and you've got a tender meter, but you can also like fly it through a fountain to clean it off.
Yep. So I'm picturing sort of like, if you remember I Am Bread, how that had like a cleanliness meter as well as like a toast meter,
yes.
And you could get too tender, or you could, I like the idea of you've got different ways of cleaning it off, but you can also like tenderize the living bejesus out of it, and it goes too tender, and then,
of course.
It's not acceptable to.
Well, and it probably just starts to like
customer
break apart or something. You know what I mean? Like it probably just starts to disintegrate if you over tenderize it.
God, I'm just imagining how awesome the graphics could actually be in that 2D side scrolling sort of aspect, but having it like that 2.5D sort of thing where you get the 3D models.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And yeah. Oh god, with today's graphics and a relatively simple, as in you don't have to render too much stuff, but you render it beautifully. That steak is glistening, and every scrap of dirt and all the ants that you pick up by trying to tenderize it across the concrete are rendered beautifully, perfectly.
You just really don't want to drag it through that dog shit.
Well, that's the risk. Exactly. It's like, oh shit, we're nearly in the customer's house.
You can wash that all you want, but you're not getting rid of that shit. That shit smell.
They're still gonna taste it.
It's still there.
It's buried in that steak forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that idea. I like the idea of it being high-res graphics. Different types of meat need, different levels of tenderization.
Yeah, because you're not going to tenderize the hell out of the chicken breast because,
No, you just need to whack that against a few gargoyles that you fly past. I don't know. I'm trying to think of things that you would even whack it on.
In the background, you just see, like, that gremlin gargoyle from Gremlins in the New Batch.
Oh, of course. I mean, wherever there's gargoyles, he's there.
Yeah.
All right, let's click again.
3, 2, 1, click.
Wrapping.
Promise.
Wrapping with a W, by the way.
Okay.
I feel like this is about anniversary gifts or something. Or or wedding gifts, maybe. What do you... Because, I don't know, I'm trying to think of... I mean, obviously wrapping could go with different things, but I'm thinking gifts. I'm trying to think of where the game is, though.
And it's not just wrapping like what we did last time, where it was wrapping like a helicopter or whatever it was.
No. I don't think it's
a jet fighter.
I don't think this is actually about wrapping the presents. I think it's about what's in the presents. Maybe it's like to do with a wedding registry, and I feel like there's something not quite there, but sort of on the tip of my brain about like getting the right gifts for a wedding registry or something. And I don't know. Okay, maybe it's a match 3.
What about this?
All right, go.
Picture this. It's E3.
Yes, it is. Very topical of you.
You're working for a random brand that something has been promised to everyone, and the person who was supposed to present has fallen sick.
God damn it, Gabe Newell. We all knew what it was going to be.
So I'm just picturing that no one actually knows what this massive present is on stage. So,
okay,
there's just a massive present, and it's got something to do with the promise that the certain game would be shown at this thing, and then it's all about sort of vamping on what the topic is.
So, right. So nobody knows what the game is that they're gonna show.
Well, you get an idea as to what the promise was that they're going to unveil. Sort of like if it was, say, a Bethesda, and they've promised to unveil something about Fallout 76. Mm-hmm. Well, that you got to say something about Fallout 76, but somehow you've also got to bring in whatever's in the present into the speech that you're making.
Oh, now, I see. So you're the one who has to present it now.
Yeah, you're the presenter because the real presenter's gone sick.
You know what I think this game is?
What?
The party game, the take-home version of Bitstorm. Where you're at home, it's Saturday night, and you've got all your friends over for board games, and you're like, all right, let's kick this off with a few rounds of Click Pitch, Bitstorm Edition. And you pick like 2 cards randomly from a deck, and then that one person has to present as if they were presenting that game at E3. And then everyone gives them points or something on how well they did.
I think what you can then have is there's a special prize that is actually talked about in the instruction manual. When you actually read through it, it says that the host needs to wrap a present.
Okay.
In the final round, the two people who have come
like first and second, yep, got the most points.
Second,
yep.
They have to do a presentation with the cards that they get, and also incorporate what's in the present.
Well, okay. What I like actually there is I like the idea of the present, but I think the present is you put two cards, like Cluedo style. You put two cards without looking at them into the present, which is maybe a little box that comes with it with the game, and instead of the previous rounds, which was pretty standard click pitch sort of thing, in this one they have to talk about this game without knowing what's on the cards.
And then when they get to the end,
after each of their presentations, you reveal, and whoever's presentation worked best for those cards wins. Or maybe it's not. Maybe you've got a different set of cards which are like made up versions of games themselves. Like, so there's not as random as just two words. Maybe it comes with a deck of like 50 cards that are all, you know,
present cards.
parodies of existing games or something. So, you know, you've got like quarter life. I don't know. That doesn't even make sense in context of whatever, but like, yeah, we'll have writers come up with the parodies, but they're obvious parodies of existing games, so that the audience generally knows what that game is, which will just make it even funnier then when, you know, the presenter, without knowing what the game was talking about the, you know, amazing graphics and post-apocalyptic, you know, style, blah, 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 and it turns out that it's The Sims or whatever.
That could be quite cool. So this is literally a take-home card version, physical card version of the game Click Pitch.
Yeah, exactly. I think we should print this and take its packs. I would play it. Well, we do play it, but
yes, we play it every week.
We are the take-home version. You can take me home. All right, let's go.
You can take me home anytime you want, Ben.
I'm married, Trevor. Sorry to break it to you. Mm-hmm. Assembling.
Hardback.
Oh, okay. I mean, my mind immediately goes to books, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
What else has a hardback? Turtles. You could be assembling robotic turtles
of the Teenage Mutant kind,
or like armadillos.
Yep.
Insects have exoskeletons. I don't know why you're assembling them. I mean, it could be about someone who's got a bad army of robot tortoises. I don't know, but
I got nothing.
Damn it. Yeah. Okay. Me neither.
3, 2, 1, click.
Timer.
Compilation. Yeah.
Oh.
Compilation.
This is okay. So you know how when we were teenagers, and I don't think I actually did this to anyone because I was a lonely shy boy, but people would make mixtapes for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they'd be on either cassette tape or, as we got a bit older, on CD.
Yep.
But this was, you know, there's sort of a skill involved, and you want to choose the right songs, and you want to make sure that, I don't know whether you're trying to send, what sort of message you're trying to send. Now, these millennials, no way. More the Gen Zs. But in this day and age, this sort of thing is all digital, right? It's not physical media. You're making like Spotify playlists for each other. And people are much less patient. Kids are much less patient. So I'm thinking it's a time-based playlist making game.
Okay.
Where you are making it for either a romantic interest or friendly interest or whatever. Like you are trying to send a message through this playlist, through this mixtape, but you've got a certain amount of time because otherwise they're going to get bored. It's like, come on, I've received 350 tweets in the time it sent you to make this playlist. Go away. Okay,
so now I'm just wondering, are we also going to be able to do some mashups in there?
Ooh, I mean, that's real pro level stuff, but sure.
So basically you got to sort of beat match and...
Oh, you literally have to do it.
Yeah, I'm thinking that it's sort of like a harder version of like the DJ Hero.
Mm-hmm. Or a bit of drop mix in there.
Yeah.
Elements of drop mix. Maybe this is just a drop mix contest. We have to switch the cards out the right way to gain someone's affection.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. That was my idea.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Don't think it's going anywhere, but damn those kids. Get off my lawn. All right, 3, 2, 1, click. Bubble.
Galaxy.
Ooh, a bubble galaxy. Ooh, I feel some interesting narrative things around galaxy in a bubble.
Yeah. I'm starting to picture like a macroverse sort of thing, where maybe scientists realize that we're actually the top level of a bunch of galaxies, that we're actually the largest sort of
and we
group.
like
and
contain other.
If you shrink down, and you actually find out that like there's multiple little galaxies that you can actually find throughout.
It's like in between the electrons in our molecules and our atoms, there are like entire other galaxies, other universes.
Yeah, I think that when you actually shrink down, and compress the space in between the atoms, and you actually find out that there's actually like in some circumstances there are bubble universes or bubble galaxies that you can
enter and explore.
You can see, and they each have like a different
flavor
selection of laws of physics.
Ooh, okay. So how do you find them? Just by shrinking? How many are there? 11?
There are literally only 11 bubbles in the entire galaxy, or in the entire universe, and they all happen to be on this dude's face.
They all happen to be in this bath, amongst all my other bubbles. 11 of the bubbles in this bubble bath contain universes. Find them. But don't burst them.
Needle in a haystack.
Don't burst
or
them.
A galaxy
you will kill
in a
billions of beings. I do like, there's something there around, there's something very anthropocentric, anthrocentric, I guess, about the fact that our universe is like the top one. Ours is the top. Ours is the biggest, best. I'm Trump. Biggest and best. We're the biggest.
Doesn't mean it's the best.
There could be no universes bigger than ours. Well, to Trump it does. But anyway, that's an interesting idea that within our universe, or I love the idea that that's just scientists for you. Like, that's just men. That's just humans for you. It's like, oh, we found all these smaller universes inside our own universe. We must be the biggest one. Without even thinking about the possibility that we could just be a tiny bubble in someone's fucking giant bubble bath.
Now I'm picturing that episode of Futurama where, remember how they had the universe in a box?
Yeah.
And they pulled their own box universe into the universe. And so when they squashed the universe, like everything sort of squashed.
Well, I was also thinking of that Rick and Morty episode where he created universes inside the batteries, right?
Yeah.
Because that's actually where my mind went initially, that somehow there are these, within certain objects, there are these other entire universes that you find your way into. Look, I like the narrative possibilities of just finding universes within our own. I don't think we've managed to really take it in an interesting direction where we can build a story out of it, but we had some laughs.
Did we? 3, 2, 1, click.
I did. But did we? But is this show funny, or have we done 79 episodes for nothing? All right, 3, 2, 1, click.
Habit.
Exploration. Now, my mind went in a really bad direction.
Same here. So let's not go in the Nun direction.
That was it, yes. We'll be having none of that. 3, 2, 1, click. No, I don't know. I can't get my mind out of it now.
You can't get your mind off of nuns.
Like, I'm just
them exploring.
In the habit. Yeah, I'm in the habit of the nun stuff. I mean, what else is habitual about exploring? Let's see.
So I'm just wondering if, like, this is set where you're looking for Doctor Livingstone.
I presume. Okay.
Yes. And the reason why you're looking for him is because he's got like he's a habit forming sort of doctor that.
Okay.
You're wanting him to, you have a feeling that if he meets up with like some cannibals, then he's going to actually, turn into a habitual like human eater, or he's very susceptible to habits.
So you're trying to save Dr. Livingstone from himself, because you know that if he comes across any vice that he's into, like eating human flesh,
any vice,
then he will take it to the level of take it to the extreme, to his own detriment.
And it started early on, where you saw him like try smoking once, and then all of a sudden he's like a 5-pack a day sort of character.
So when you started saying this one, my thought actually was that you're a patient of Dr. Livingstone.
Yeah.
Who, before he explored Africa, were like, he was your GP. And you don't want anyone else to look at that weird rash on the back of your knee. So you are hunting him down, just so you can say, does it look like it's getting worse? Like, can you prescribe me some antibiotics? Have they not been invented yet? I mean, I know we're in the middle of deepest, darkest Africa, but hey, Doc, give me something here. Or maybe it's an RTS. we gotta find a good last game here, man.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, that's what I think. 3, 2, 1, click. Evening
bird.
It's a bird of the evening.
Yeah, I don't think we should do a prostitute bird game. 3, 2, 1, click.
I wasn't thinking that.
Yeah, you were. I know you were.
Commercial.
Surgery.
No. Oh, God. My mind just went to, like, late night commercials.
Yep.
And like, some guy, sort of like a surgeon simulator sort of thing, where you're creating a commercial for the sort of surgeries that you perform.
I'm Dr. Nick. Hi, Dr. Nick. For just another $19.99, I'll also remove your appendix. No, that's not a game, though. All right, I'm doing something we never do. Switching to verb.
Oh, shit.
These are all terrible.
Here we go.
Seed.
Correspondence.
Now, this is the verb to seed via correspondence. So you're obviously a sperm donor.
That wasn't obvious.
I mean, I don't know what you think of when you see the word seed, but I think of semen.
I think of someone, I don't know, sending carrot seeds in like in the mail.
Jesus Christ. This episode is going weird. It's probably because I've had too much to drink. And then it's 11 o'clock at night. Seed correspondence. Okay. Are you two seeds talking to each other via email?
No, because that'd be a noun. You said verb.
Are you two seeds seeding each other? Oh, yeah. Fuck, that's not it, is it? All right. I'm going to treat this one as a noun, even though it came up as a verb. Bear.
Abortion.
No, Trevor. Come on, I'm trying to find something we can actually use here. Turn into a game. Fuck me. And then abort the bear baby that comes from that. Because you're a bear and you're hairy. I don't know.
Okay, you keep bear.
Yeah, I'll keep bear.
Pupil.
Oh, I like the idea that you're teaching someone to be a bear.
Now, is this a bear in the gay parlance?
Oh, well, I mean, it could be. We obviously talked up front about all our characters being gay. How do you teach someone to be a bear? The problem is that I'm not gay and I don't know many gay people. I'm really not that fluent in the culture.
No, but I think this could be maybe it's an informative game about gay culture. Okay. So the pupil being the person actually playing the game.
All right, look, I like the idea of... This is the problem. Look, there are so many games that I want to see with representation of people who are not usually represented in games, as I spoke about at the beginning, and I just do not feel qualified to come up with those stories because I would love to see I would love to see a game, some sort of narrative game of someone being taken under the wing of somebody else in the gay cult community and teaching them the ways, well, not the ways, but teaching them about, like LGBT culture and them discovering themselves. Like, that would be an awesome game, and I feel like someone could write something really amazing, and it's not me.
No.
But I would fucking play the shit out of a point-and-click adventure like that. It'd be awesome. Or like Life is Strange-esque thing, or I don't know, fucking Telltale game. I would fucking love that game.
But, again, I don't think we could create it. 3, 2, 1, click.
All right, here's something we can do something benign with. Golf.
Assessment.
Oh, that's boring. Click again. I want something interesting to do with golf. There's not many things.
Leech.
Leech golf. So, how do leeches play golf? There's a game where you have to, like, suction one end of yourself to the golf ball and, like, fling it somehow in a leech-like fashion. Maybe you're just a leech in, like, the water, the lake on the golf course, and when people hit their balls in there, it's like, yes, I'm going to feast tonight.
On plastic?
No, when they come in to get the balls, they try to get them out. They don't eat the golf ball. So
I'm picturing that you the leech, you're on the first hole, and you want to get to, like, say the 18th hole.
Of course,
because there's something amazing there.
We all do, yeah.
But unfortunately, the person that is playing golf, and you just happen to choose this golf ball to stick to, is tremendously bad at golf.
Okay. It's just taking it forever. It's like 12 shots per hole.
Yeah. So what I'm picturing is that you've got to choose where to sort of line up on the golf ball to sort of help maneuver the ball, like, and get extra drag going in a certain direction.
It's just purely physics based. Like, how would a single leech affect the path of a golf ball hit by a terrible golfer? That's intense. I like it.
And it's all about the grip and all that sort of stuff as well.
You have to, like, hold on. Yeah, you have to be continuously, like, pulling the triggers left and right or something to hold on. Well, I'm picturing a bit of Iron Bread again with that sort of flinging motion between the front and back of the leech to get around.
Okay.
And that could come into play even while you're on the golf ball, like flying through the air. I think you probably have to get a bit of slow motion going, right? So you're affecting it in the air.
Okay. Taking the idea of leech golf. So we'll just leave that, the golf game, the physics golf game.
That's fine.
So here's another way that you could take it.
All right.
This is a game in which you have one player who hits the leeches, and the other players have to run around and not get hit by the person.
Hit by the leeches. Okay. Are you still trying to get him in a hole as well?
No, I think all you're trying to do is hit the other players.
Although I kind of like the idea that it is sort of a regular golf game, but also if you choose, instead of hitting your ball, you can hit a leech. So, like, if someone hits a really good shot and they're out in front of you, then instead of trying to hit your next shot better, so it goes further, you can just, like, hit a leech at them, and it like drains their blood, and they get a penalty on their next shot.
Okay, I reckon we do one more.
It could also be vampire golf, because they're kind of leech shitters.
So it's the same game, but you hit Draculas at each other.
And it's set at night.
And they can turn into bats to like get a little bit of extra
just get
gliding.
that little bit of extra lift. Yeah. 3,
I love it.
2, 1.
Okay, let's click again.
Parrot.
Territorial.
All right. So, I mean, parrots don't strike me as particularly violent creatures.
Mm-hmm. What about a rabbit? A rabid parrot.
A rabbit parrot.
No, a rabid. As in, it's got rabies.
Yeah, I knew what you meant.
Just call it Cujo the parrot.
Well, I was trying to think, like, what's distinct about parrots? They're colourful and they can learn words. Maybe the territory of these parrots relies on the words that they learn or something. So it's kind of a game of mimicry where maybe there's a bit of, like, insult sword fighting in there, where as a parent, to push someone else's territory back, you have to learn the right words to counter their words. Like, parrots can't learn that many words. They can only learn phrases they overhear. And so you have to learn the right phrase to counter someone else's phrase.
Oh, God.
So you obviously live in a neighborhood of parrot lovers.
Yeah.
So there are people around too. And maybe you've got like a phrase gathering period. I mean, I'm reaching here, but we're trying to find something that works. Fuck me. We haven't had this trouble in ages.
You know what I think it is? Mm-hmm. It's 11:07 p.m.
Yep.
And we're both fucking tired.
Yeah, probably doesn't help.
3, 2, 1, click.
All right.
Perforation.
Jesus, what complexity are you on?
I'm on average.
Finger perforation. Now, this is either a perforated finger, which is a bit gross, or it's to do with coupons where you have to tear them out without tearing them with your fingers.
So, I'm now picturing, this is just totally stupid, but this is where my mind has gone.
Yep, that's where we're at.
It's a universe in which, like, everyone's hands have like perforations right at where the fingers like join to like the palm.
Okay.
And you know, your fingers work perfectly, but you've got, you know, perforations that
it's just basically make them very easy weak. To tear off.
Very easy to tear off. It doesn't hurt you at all, but it just means that you got to be very careful because
you can't put them back on still.
You can't put them back on. Now, this is...
Sorry, I love this idea of a world where most people are missing most of their fingers. Like, the older you are, the more fingers you have missing. That's basically a way to tell how long someone's been around, unless they've been in a horrible...
by how many fingers they've lost.
Yeah.
So I'm picturing that this is sort of a competitive game.
Okay.
In which your whole idea is to collect as many fingers as you can.
You gotta collect them?
From other people.
So in a world like this, that person is just a complete asshole.
Handshakes.
Right, yeah, you shake hands too hard. You're in love with someone and you do that thing where you like interlock your fingers and suddenly none of you have any fingers left.
Here's the church, here's the steeple. Oh, fuck. Turn it over and I just lost all my fingers.
I just lost all my people. They fell on the floor. They fell out of the church. Come back, people. Don't even start on babies. Like, those little fuckers will take a whole hand worth of fingers off. They like to grab shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could kind of picture this as I'm trying to think how the gameplay would work on a game like this. I feel like this is
So I'm picturing now that it's a narrative game, not a competitive multiplayer game. And you're basically showing the year in a life of this one guy in this universe.
Okay. How many fingers does he start with? 9. Okay, that's about right.
So he's only lost 1.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good life so far.
And what he actually lost it to was like the most innocuous sort of thing that you can think of.
Yeah. He was just like leaning on it and then pulled his hand away.
He put his hand in gum and then was like trying to shake it off and just like his little finger just came off.
Yeah. But look, at least it was just his little finger.
So I'm just picturing that you can take it through like a whole heap of different scenarios that he goes through in this year and just have like a look into his year.
Sorry, go on.
I'm picturing that his boyfriend has like 7 fingers or something like that. So it was a little bit more
and look,
rough. He's
only 22. Like that's pretty. That's quite a few fingers to have been missing by 22. But I'm trying to think of what else would take a perforated finger off. I mean, anything, most things.
Industrial accidents.
That'll take anyone's finger off, even in our world. It's like
escalators. Oh, now I'm just picturing that glue, he goes to put his hand in the elevator to try and stop it at one stage.
Yeah, just without thinking. Yeah. I just fucking love this idea. It's the world where the only thing is different is that everyone's fingers come off real easily. Like, basically, like, everyone's fingers are one of those pieces of paper that you find on telephone poles that's like, free guitar lessons, please take a number. Please take a finger.
Later on in the game, you actually find out that fingers aren't the only things that are perforated. And we'll end on that one.
Yeah. I think we're done. Jesus. Fuck.
I was thinking toes. I don't know what you were thinking of.
No, you weren't. Thank you for joining us this week on Pitstorm. If you want to find us on the internet, we are on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. We have a Facebook group. Facebook.com/group/Bitstorm. We have a YouTube channel. Search for Bitstorm or point, click, repeat. We're also on Podchaser, where you can rate us, you can review us, you can add us to lists soon, you can listen to us on a bunch of different integrated players and things, with more to come.
Awesome. We're also on iTunes, where you can, and we would love it if you could rate and review us on there, and even subscribe to us while you're there. We've got a website, bitstormcast.com. We've got friends at the AGPN.
Yay!
The Australasian Gaming Podcast Network. They're a group of awesome people. We'd like you to check them out by searching #AGPN on Twitter or the Australasian Gaming Podcast Network on Facebook. We'd like to thank Kuradust for the song Mount Defiance off of the album Containment Failure, because it's just awesome.
Thank you again for joining us this week on Bitstorm. I'm Ben Slinger.
I'm Trevor Scott.
And look, how would anybody make it past puberty?
My penis.
Jesus Christ, you got me. Holy fuck. Just did not see that coming.
Oh, that was great.